It's Beta Brick. I rushed this mock out to meet the deadline for Summer Joust 2022, where I was entering it into the Bridging the Gap category. In total, I spent a couple of weeks on it, and it was a real roller coaster of a build. I finally finished and photographed it, and it sat in my shelf for a few weeks. Now I'm busy with school, but I thought I'd take some time out of my schedule to do this video. Alright, enough talking, let's get into it. This was my second build for Summer Joust this year. You can check out the first one in the cards in the top right corner. The requirements were that the bridge had to freely stretch over at least 32 studs without any extra supports in between. And of course it also had to look good and fit in the medieval/fantasy theme. The basic concept behind my bridge is a giant tree that has been cut down and hollowed and laid as a bridge over a creek. Of course, in reality, the bridge probably wouldn't be strong enough, and it doesn't really fit in the rest of the forest, but it looks super cool, so... Alright, the actual MOC details now. We'll start with the part of the MOC I started with, and that's the water. Actually, I started with the water because I had no idea what I wanted the rest of the MOC to be. Originally, I wanted the water just to be a small hint connecting the two sides like this, but I couldn't find a way to make it look good or strong enough, so I decided to do a sort of freeform style of water. However, after talking with others, they thought it looked too much like a waterfall, so I tried to fix this by making the water look like a cutout on the side. I don't know how successful I was at that, but it's the design I settled on. In this design, the water on top is made to look like it's moving by using a bunch of round 1x1s. The side of the water is made with some trans blue tiles. I tried to make the small bank in a freeform style on the sides and use some minifigure hair and hats as bumps and stones. I also added some debris to the water in the form of rocks, plants, sticks, and logs. The rock wall was probably one of the hardest parts of the MOC, and at one point during the building process, I had a whole pad cup on my desk full of all the dark gray pieces I had collected for it. The wall is fairly flimsy in a few places and isn't consistent all the way through, with some parts being small and stacked, while other parts are large snot panels. Even in the snot panels, there's a variety, some parts bigger and some smaller, or more and less curved. Fortunately, I don't think people look too hard at the rocks, and I don't think it affects the final MOC too much. The sections behind the rocks I didn't even try to cover. It's all the connections, supports, and filler. Moving up, on top are the forest sections with a few plants and trees. These parts are basically there to show what the bridge connects. The trees are fairly basic, and this tree was actually stolen from my other MOC just moments before its destruction. The other two trees are based off it. I also made this longer, smaller tree. If you want to see how to build these, check out my other Summer Joust video in the corner. I have a path going through the forest floor, and it's covered in a few other plants and rocks. Now for the actual bridge part of the MOC. The bridge was easily the hardest part of the MOC, and the part that took the longest to figure out. The first challenge I had was to actually figure out how to design the log and get something that's thin, but still holds its shape. The way I finally figured out was using string. Technically, this is an illegal building technique because the plates are stretched around the string, but it gets the job done very well, and there aren't any pesky clips or connections showing. This works in a weird way, where the plates are spaced out in a way where they can bend, but not too far, and gravity holds the rounded shape. The string is official LEGO string from a couple of different places, and I didn't even have the heart to take out the hook and spool off, but they're hidden away in the back anyways. The base of the bridge is a bunch of stacked plates and attaches to the rest through a couple of clips on each side. On the bottom, I put some more plates to provide lots of support and hide the extra string. On top where the path is, I textured it with a stud tile mix and a couple of quarter or round tiles to add some more texture. I'm not super crazy about the anti-studs showing on the inside, but I guess to provide some texture, and I didn't have 120 of these inverted tiles to use instead. Finally, the figures. The minifigures I use in this MOC are this traveling guy worn down with a heavy backpack and bag, and anything he isn't carrying is strapped to his dog for the long journey. These aren't the best figures, but I didn't know what kind of figures I wanted, and I don't have too many good medieval parts. Oh, it feels good to be finally finished with this MOC. I didn't win any prizes for it, but it was a great experience to build. I like it, but it's not much of a display piece, and it's a real parts eater. I hope to build some more MOCs soon, but I'll be super busy with school for the next couple years, and the channel is going to have to come second or even third. I'll try to keep a regular upload schedule, though a lot less often. Alright, now to destroy this. Thanks for watching, have a nice day.